Go round rise, say. I should want vibrations, every bucka. May your mind, buckas, and souls be old. May your arms be sound. May your buckas be living off the ground when we keep to the breath, to the earth, to the moth, earth, to the seon. The soul of Ra guides and keeps you, oh. Ayanma, Ayezra, L-I-E, say L, say I, Christ or A, chaplain, Tata, Amen Ra. I am truth, awareness, true talk. Can be a part of the greatest transfer of Ma-El, that's intelligence, Aminology to Angodu. This is sound logic, and with all that being offered to you, being a fool is absolutely your choice. Today is officially 1837. Go to Google, go to Apple, download the Kagadora app, go to jesus.com, sign up, get the iBucket to Omen, get the Mathorian Kagadora files. You can print it, you can download it, you can order the print to your door, and get access to directionary.com, pmlss.org. Go to amenra.com, get some apparel, get some books, get the poster, Where Would the Devils Fear? Erectionary.com, words die your erection. We're learning to Angodu because we speak emotion. Your mental health is directly tied to your etheric compass. You got to reorientate to sound. That's the solarization that we offer at Save by Sound. I don't consent to draconian state, nor should you. Hashtag that in your post, and thought is the spores that spawn intelligence. Fungi.org. This is the Crypto Shit Shower report for 1837. We are officially on one. We've had the split day. We spent up until about 4 hours ago. We were on 836, which was a 9. Okay? And so remember, when Ra is giving, when the ether is giving, the draconians are taking. Okay? And so if we look at the market, that's exactly what has been happening. Okay, the market has been having a hard time going over the last 4 days because they're dealing with 9 energy. You're dealing with 8 energy. You're dealing with 7 energy. Okay, you're even dealing with 6 energy. Okay, we're dealing with Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays that were really 4 days ahead of the Gregorian days. Okay, you gotta look at, we're at 1837. Okay, so if you go to 31, right, plus let's say 3 days, so that's 34. Okay, so that's a good 3 digits difference. That's significant. If you're only exposed to the Gregorian calendar, you have no idea, that there's a sound reality that the parasite program is parallel to. Then you obviously don't know what to expect except for what they tell you. Okay, so this is why you need the Mathorian Kagadori. You got to get the app so that you can follow the energy. All right, you can follow the energy and have some real expectations of what they're trying to do. Okay, we're going to go. This is on the minute still. Okay, we can go to the hour. You can see it's not quite 8 o'clock yet. So China hasn't really come on board. So you could expect some volatility. This is what I believe this run-up was, is to get people committed. Okay, they're at 106. They touched 105. Okay, I told you all been for a week what I've been thinking is going to happen. And it's been playing out pretty good. Okay, so I don't see any logic in getting down to 105 when we were previously down to 103. You're not going to touch there again. Wouldn't make any sense. It's not trying to say that this makes sense at all. Okay, but when you're using the logic and the psychology, if you're only 2,000 away from a base where you had a lot of people buying, okay, you had a lot of people buying where it pumped it right up to almost 115. Why aren't you going to go back into that range where you got a lot of support, right? You could make a quick $2,000 on the swing. Okay, so I think, this is what we have to prepare for, right? Anything could happen, all right? Somebody could sell their bag and fucking they should mark the price up because they know that same person that sold their bag is going to buy in at a higher price, right? Somebody can come in with a big short, right? Shoot the price up because they want to liquidate that short. It could also be reversed. Somebody can buy a huge bag right now and a big spot bag, and they'll immediately bring the price down to put pressure and reduce the value, take it right off of that spot sale. Okay, so we got to know that this is a trap. All I can give you is sound logic. Okay, that's all I'm providing is sound logic for you to help, manage your emotions. Okay, because this is what the system runs off. That's the true cash, is your emotions. Okay, this thing going up and down is just to stimulate you to engage in buying and selling. They don't make their money off of the price of the Bitcoin or whatever. They make their money when you buy and sell, the transaction fees. Okay, that's how the market maker makes their money. Everything you look at is fake. Okay, it's just literally fake shit. Okay, that you're giving value. It's fiat on steroids. Okay, but regardless, you can make it work with a little bit of discipline, a little bit of patience, and some sound logic. All right, so that's going to wrap up this crypto shit shower update for 1837. We'll take a little short look back at, we'll bring this to the hour quickly. So we can see what's happening. All right, look like there's some wicks down here. They might get filled. Okay, we got to get ready for that. Look what they did earlier today. Okay, they came down here. They didn't make it all the way up. Right? They bounced only to here. All right? That doesn't impress me. And they did this all day. Okay? So, like I told you, the reason why there was a lot of pressure was because they're under a 9. Okay, look at the command. Number 9 gematria, so Okay, so that means you're sowing breath. It's going to be very, very hard to work against that etheric energy. Okay? Very, 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 very hard. So as you're feeling positive, right, engaging in the market with your good energy, they're going to take that energy. This is what they're doing right now. Okay, but I showed you that we are now on 1837. This happened about 4 hours ago. Okay, good 4 hours ago. Say about 4 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. I can't remember. Okay, but around, mid-afternoon, around, I think it was a good 2 o'clock. I remember. Okay, so if that's 2 o'clock, about 6 hours ago. Okay, so let's just go see what happened 6 hours ago. Let's count. Okay, we got, well, we have to actually add an hour because the hour went up. So 7 hours. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So we had a pretty good dump. Okay. You could always, whenever the Kagadora time switches days, there's always market activity. This just never fails. Okay, so that's why you have to get the app so you can get the Kagadu. The Kadu. All right. All right, so hopefully they mark it up. They start marking it up. It's like I said, it's a really good 5 to 6 days for markup, right? A really good 5 to 6 days for markup. You have 1837 now, so Tuesday morning it will be 1837 still until about noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Then it's going to change to 1838. Okay, but 1's a very low number. The reservoir has been emptied. We've gotten the payload. Okay, so now we're getting prime. The pump's got to prime itself again. Okay, so we're at the bottom of the well. So this is when, the Dracos can mark the price up so that they can counter the payload. Remember, they build up and then they cash when we're getting our cash. Right? When we're getting, they're taking. You understand that? Okay, when we're giving, they're getting. Okay? Right? They're always in a position to profit. Right? Doesn't matter what the circumstances, they're profiting. Okay? So when you understand and understand this energy exchange, you can now profit. Okay? By engaging and disengaging. All right? So we have 1 tomorrow, which is a Tuesday. Wednesday, we have a 2. Right? So they can keep the market low and then they can spike it up on Wednesday, or they can bring it up and then bring it back down, whatever they want. Okay? The midweek. Last week, their midweek was Thursday. Okay? They did the flip on Thursday. Okay? So like I always said, between Tuesday and Thursday. But they have to set a pattern in order to qualify for a reversal. Okay? So they have to set a pattern. Okay, so right now it's going down and we're 2 days away from Wednesday, right? So if they start bringing it back up, you could expect it to come back down, right? If they continue to go sideways, keep it low range, then we could expect it to go up. Okay, if everything is left alone, this Kagadora is impeccably accurate. Okay, but like I said, it's moved by money. And so a spontaneous bet can come in, a sell order, a buy order. Let me tell you something, okay? BlackRock just announced they're trying to frame it that their holders are making seller requests, which is bullshit, okay? Because they're the ones who are holding it. They're the advisors, okay? But regardless, to me, this is a signal that they're actually making purchase orders. Okay, they're not going to be buying Bitcoin at the highs, they're buying it at the lows, right? So in order to buy it, you have to sell it. Okay, so this is basically what's happening. Orders are being filled, and so they have to bring the price down to fill those orders. You hear me? Okay, these are orders. These are not you on your little decks making trades. These are billions, millions of dollars being moved. Okay, it's not like what they think. Oh, you can just send millions of dollars in a second using XRP or big. Like, fuck that bullshit. Okay, it doesn't operate like that. Okay, you're talking orders that take weeks, sometimes months to fill. Okay, so that means they got to accumulate a lot of Bitcoin, and so that's why they keep things in certain ranges. Okay, this is why they force sales, force you to give up your bag so they can fill those orders. All right, so this is why you have to pay attention to what the sun, the ether is doing. Okay, you understand? It's crypto shit shower. Go to Jesus.com, sign up, like, share, comment, subscribe if you're seeing this video on YouTube. That's what keeps it public. If not, I keep them inactive and only give them access to my buckas, the members, the Sound Logic crew that's helping uplift Earth.